Okay. I want to just for 1 minute talk about Obamacare.
Make America great again.
Yeah, because apparently we're making America great again by repealing this thing. And I want to talk a little bit about how it actually works so that you all can have some context for this argument. Okay? Here's the basic idea of health insurance, period.
It's not political, it's not.
Right. So, yeah, I don't want to take a side in this particularly. I want to present the mathematical reality, which is when you're doing health insurance, right, you should be thinking something along the lines of cost for healthcare, right? And maybe on this axis, I'm going to put the idea of healthy people, right? They should be over here. And then on this end, there should be sick people.
It's a sliding scale.
Right? And this is kind of a sliding scale, right? Like, people are either healthier or sicker depending on kind of their whole situation. You guys see that?
Like injured, you guys can be considered in that.
Yeah, so if you get injured, right, like you go out and break your leg driving, because you're much more likely to break your leg driving than anything else, you're going to move towards the really sick end of this, right? You guys see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
There is a kind of natural thought, which is how old healthcare used to work. So healthcare before Obamacare used to work this way. Insurance companies were allowed to charge healthy people a certain amount because they might become sick, right? And they were allowed to charge really sick people more. So they would do something like this. You guys see that? Okay.
Or not take them.
Yeah. Or not cover them, right? That was also an option. So what Obamacare did was this idea of, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to require that everyone carry insurance, right? So that we can all pool our money and we'll pay for the sick people, basically. Right? And what that means is that we're going to draw a line something like this. Right? So this is old school. And this is everyone pays.
About the same.
Yeah, we're just literally going to make it straight across the same for everybody. So Obamacare is not quite like this. There's several age brackets for Obamacare, and the cost can go up. But the cost can't change based on the healthy sickness of the person that you're talking about. You see that?
Yeah, just because you use the service doesn't mean your premium's going to go up.
So this is what happens. Everyone has insurance, and everyone is covered. And what this means is that healthy people are going to pay more for their insurance, on average. Like, we know that. It has to happen. We have to get healthy people to kind of subsidize this chunk of cost. Because those people do cost more to take care of. Right? And so Obamacare was kind of predicated on the idea of what we're going to do is we're going to get more people to have health insurance and hopefully force healthy people to pay for health insurance, which is, one, good for them, two, good for the emergency room so they don't have uninsured people coming in and needing care, and three, good for the sick people, right?
But there still is uninsured people.
Yeah, there still are some.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was the idea, and the execution is a little bit, right?
Why is it good for healthy people if they're paying more?
So,
In case.
yeah, so you have the opportunity every day to move from this end to this end really fast,
Right.
right? And so
Not
if
pay more.
you're uninsured and you're injured, you're going to incur some kind of massive, like,
But it's not
Bill.
good for people that are healthy and insured.
yeah, so for people who are healthy and insured, they're going to pay a little bit more.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, this is totally a drain on them. I fully acknowledge that. But when they're healthy, right, they can work. And so hopefully they can afford this little bit more. And yeah, it's a little bit more. I definitely make no argument towards this is good for everyone. I think this is good for society as a whole, but that's because I feel like sick people probably should get covered.
Also, it's worth noting that there's far more healthy people than there are really sick people.
Yeah, it really should be noted that I kind of skewed this thing, right? Like, I went pretty fast from healthy to sick. And there were really a lot more people over here And so their little increase, right? Like in a room like this, maybe one of us has extremely high healthcare bills, right? And so the rest of us are going to end up paying a little bit more to help that person. But there are way more healthy people than there are sick people. So the plan that's been proposed to replace Obamacare keeps some things. It keeps this part, right? Like, it keeps a lot of this, okay, preconditions can't be discriminated against. It keeps the idea that kids can be on their parents' insurance until they're 26. It keeps some other stuff. So it keeps part of this everyone is covered business. What it doesn't keep is the idea that everyone has insurance. You guys see that? And so what that means is that healthy people are going to be able to opt out, right? And when the healthy people opt out, who's left in the plans? Only the sick people. What's that going to do to the insurance premiums? Yeah, it's going to jack them all, right? So the option under removing this is not going to be copacetic. That's going to experience sky-high rates, right? Because those groups of people that are going to be insured now are going to have way more, right, probability of pre-existing condition. So it hasn't been addressed at all.
It's kind of like one of those things where
There-
a group of healthy people will opt out, and then the prices will go up. More people will opt out, the prices will go up. More people will opt out, the prices will go up.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was a compromise anyway. Like, the whole thing was predicated on this really stupid idea that health insurance companies should be able to make money. And that's kind of fundamentally fucked up. Because that means that they're making money off of sick people. Like, in what world is that okay?
But doctors make money off sick people.
Yeah. So
Well, why should someone that's trained to help sick people not be compensated for their services to society?
So no one's saying that we
No,
shouldn't
I'm just-
pay doctors, but what I am saying is that insurance companies,
CEOs don't
as
sit
a
and
group,
make bunch of money.
do not actually cure people. What they do is they take money and redistribute it. The expected value for them of insuring people is usually positive, which means that they're making money,
Right, or they wouldn't exist.
or they wouldn't exist. But that's what government is for. Government is for doing things that don't make sense in a business world, right?
Yeah.
And so this whole diagram is about maybe it's time to think about cutting the profit margin out of this idea. And I really would like to note for everyone that regardless of what your opinion is on everyone should be covered, that this idea of taking the people should be covered but not everyone should have to have insurance is mathematically impossible. Cool? So regardless of what your political view is, you can't have one of these without the other.